Hey everybody, stick around because in this video, we are going back to the bin store. And by we, I mean you and me, we're both going. Several months ago, I posted a video showing off my camping gear haul that I made at my local Amazon Returns bin store. In that video, I explained a little bit about the concept of how the bin store works. Essentially, people buy pallets of Amazon Returns and they put them out for sale where every item, no matter what it is the exact same price as everything else in the store that day. Every day, the price changes just a little bit and drops down until on the very last day, things sell for as cheap as 50 cents. In that video, you got to see all of the cool gear that I got at my local bin store, and that video has generated a lot of questions. A lot of people have asked things like, is this an online thing or is it an in-person thing? They've asked about how it works, what it looks like. A lot of people have said they don't have anything like this in their area. And you may very well have one, you just don't know it yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys on a shopping spree where I'm going to go to two of my local bin stores and see if we can find some camping gear. So without further ado, let's do just that. So here we are at my local bin store. This is my favorite one here, the first one that we're going to go to today. Now, one of the things that you can look for if you're trying to figure out if there is one of these in your community is most of these places have a very similar theme on the outside. They look something like this. They'll have a flashy name. A lot of times it'll involve the word treasure or bargain, deals, or something along those lines. And they all have the same kind of structured pricing pattern. You'll see that on the first day of sales, things are generally at about $7. The second day, it's going to be $5, and then so on and so forth. Now, today, we're going in the store on a Sunday. It is the third day of the sale week, which means that everything in the store is going to be $4. No matter what we find, no matter how much it would normally sell for, it's $4 today. So going into this store, we can kind of see the general setup. You see the way they've got the rows of bins laid out, and there is no order to this. Everything is just dumped into these bins for the customer to sort through. And you can also see that these bins are really piled up with stuff. Now, we've already had 2 days of selling on the same products leading up to the day that we're in the store. So you can imagine on the first day, these things are piled up high. That's the one downside to showing up on the first day of sales. It's one thing that all the items are selling for a couple dollars a piece more, and that does add up pretty quickly. But also the sheer amount of items that are in some of these bins can be a little overwhelming. And if you are a person who gets overwhelmed by crowds, noise, and just kind of having too much stimulus, this may not be the environment for you, or you may choose to wait until closer to the end of the day before you go into one of these places. So let's dive in here and let's see what we can find. The first item I found in this store today was a package of tie-down straps. They were olive drab in color, made out of nylon. I ended up not buying these simply because they weren't really worth that much above the $4 price point that everything was selling at that day, and it wasn't anything that I just really needed. So I took them out and eventually put them back. Now, going back into this concept, one of the things that you want to be sure and do as you go through the store is if you see something you're interested in, go ahead and grab it, put it in your cart, tote it around with you for a little while, and then later on go back and double check everything that you've got, see what you need to keep and what you want to put back. It doesn't matter where you put it. It's not like you're carrying a TV set around at Walmart and then leaving it on the counter when you decide you don't want it. This particular layout of the store, you don't have to worry about where you leave things. You can pick it up on one end of the store, put it down on the other end of the store, and nobody's going to hold that against you. This next item that I found was a dog training kit. It has a little water bottle that the dog can drink out of. It has a kind of a fanny pack that you can put treats in. And essentially it's just for working with training your dog. And I put this back because it wasn't anything that I really needed. It was a pretty cool little set, but I didn't really have to have it, so it didn't go home with me that day. Here I spotted something that looked pretty interesting. I pulled it out, and sure enough, it was a camping and outdoors related item. It's a product from a company called Anyu. Now that you've seen how we found it, let's open this up and take a look at it and see what it is. It turns out that it's a poncho. I kind of looked this thing up just to see what it was, get a general idea about it. So we're going to open it here and see what we got for $4. One of the things about finding camping gear is that a lot of it does have a very similar look. It's easy to spot because a lot of things come in these kind of bags with the drawstring at the top, and they tend to be in neutral colors like this. So It's just something to watch for. When you're going through these bins, they can be a little overwhelming, but when you spot things like this, they kind of jump out at you. So opening this up, this is a really nice poncho. It's got a hood. It's a standard style poncho with snaps, so you can close up the sides. And you can see, it's plenty big. It's just a little bit of extra protection that you can put into this little bag here and either keep it in your car or your pack or what have you, and have it accessible when you need it. So this next item I found was less for the camping side and more of the video side. It was this Neewer kit of GoPro accessories. Now this thing sells for about between $30 and $40. It's a bunch of gear that goes with my GoPro. You can kind of see it has different mounts. It has a chest mount. It has the floating mount so that if you're out on the water, you can attach this to it. And if you drop it in the water, this will float. It has windshield mounts. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything in it. There's a whole bag full of different kinds of mounts. This was a pretty cool one because I recently bought a new GoPro to use on some of my outings when I don't want to take my DSLR camera, things for like hiking excursions and such. So this was a pretty cool find. And an item that I didn't catch me finding on video because it just kind of jumped up out of nowhere was this piece here. I don't know what company it's from. I don't recognize the brand, but I actually kind of cheated with this one. I found another one just like it that was out of the packaging. As I explained in the previous video, they don't like you to open the packages up. They will ask you to leave the store if they catch you opening up bags. They'll open them for you. They don't want you opening them yourself. So I found one that was just like this, that didn't have the bag on it, but it did have the safety orange pouch. But this thing is kind of cool. Check this out. Once again, we have the drawstring bag. This is a hat that is designed to be completely collapsible. It has different configurations that you can set it up in. It has a chin strap. It has zipper pouches for whatever you might need those for, in case you want to open it up for air. It's just kind of an all-around cool hat to have. And the fact that it goes in this bag, once again, you can just kind of throw it in your gear. You don't have to keep up with it, but it's there in the event that you need it. Looking at the label that fell out of the bag when I opened it, it's from a company called Transformer Hat. So it's a hat that just, I'm gonna have to go online and look for some video about this and see all of the different things that it's capable of, because between the snaps and the Velcro and the zippers, guessing it is designed for a bunch of preset configurations. So I'm really curious to go and see what I can learn about this hat, but it's really cool. It's something that I'll just kind of keep in my gear, and that way I've got it when I need it. One of the things that I run into a lot at these stores is the tactical harnesses for dogs. Just like this one here. This is a really nice setup. It's got heavy duty nylon strapping. It's got a good solid D-ring. It's got additional D-rings on the other side for training your dog in different ways. I find these quite a bit. So if you're in the market for something like this, go into the bin store is a good way to go. These usually go for about 20 bucks, 30 bucks, something like that, depending on which one you get. So to be able to find that for 4 bucks is pretty cool. And the last item from our first store is a mystery item. This was one that my daughter found and handed to me, and I could see the company name and I looked it up and I saw generally what they sell, but I don't know what this item is. So you're gonna find out about it with me. We're gonna see if this is something cool or if I wasted 4 bucks. So anyway, let's tear into this thing like it's Christmas morning. So whatever it is, it comes with a rain cover. It's from a company called Caden, C-A-D-E-N, and they make a lot of backpacks and sling packs, and a lot of them are designed for cameras. If you know anything about me, you'll know I love some cameras. So this looks like one of their sling bags. Very interesting arrangement here. Pockets on the sides. All right, so let's open this up. This is a camera bag. I can see already by the types of compartments that it's got. It's a pretty nice little bag, and the fact that it comes with a rain cover is even better because nobody wants their camera equipment getting wet. It's got lots of pockets, lots of attachments. Yeah, I'd say I got a good deal for 4 bucks. So now we're going to go over to another store in my community. This one is called Treasure Hunt. I like Treasure Hunt, but I don't like it as much as I like Crazy Hot Deals. I find a lot of stuff at Treasure Hunt, but it requires a lot more effort. They don't have as much. It's not as big of a store, but I have found some really cool stuff in there. You probably noticed that my environment's a little different from where I normally am. I'm on the road right now, and I'm in Nashville in a rather nice hotel room. And I just realized that I forgot to bring one of the items with me that I picked up at the store. This next item that you see me finding here, this is a heat circulating fan. This is one of those things that operates off of heat alone. You don't need any electricity, no batteries, nothing with this. And if you've seen my camping videos, you've seen that me and Mr. Fish both have Mr. Buddy heaters. And this device here will take radiant heat and turn it into forced air heat by using the heat itself to operate the fan. These things are super cool. They usually run for about $50 or $60. This is actually the second one of these that I've found at one of these stores. It's intact. It seems to be working. The other one that I found a few months ago worked great. I took it home and put it over the stove and it worked like a champ. This is a really cool find because now we have one for each side of the camper. Mr. Fish can use one, I'll use the other, and we'll have plenty of heat moving around the camper instead of just having to rely on radiant heat. This last item that I found is not necessarily designed for camping. It's just designed for general use, but it's absolutely something you could use with camping. And that is one of these collapsible stools. I recently saw a video where Taras, the crazy Russian hacker, had one of these that he was testing out, and he really seemed to like it. But I spotted this, and it took me a second to realize what it was, but once I picked it up, I knew. But these things are super cool. You can see this one's got a handle, and it's very compact. But you turn this, and it pops up, and it becomes a stool. If you don't feel secure sitting on that, you can absolutely use it for a table. You could set this out next to your camp chair and use that to put your drinks, your food, whatever on that, and it makes a perfect little table, but it is designed to support the weight of a person. So it is a stool, and if you take this with you, you're going to taking the kids to soccer, if you need something to sit on a hike or on a camping trip, it collapses down. Do this here. You see, it collapses down to stow away. All right, so now you guys have gotten to see how the bin store works, what it's like going in there and hunting for treasures and hunting for camping gear. Now you see why I enjoy it so much and why I get so excited about the things that I find there. Not everything is one of those out of the park finds like that Essie knife that I found in the video, but there's always some cool stuff to be had. I found several things that I ended up not keeping. Like here's a camp pot that you can tell just from the labeling, it's not the best made thing in the world. I picked it up and toted it around and then put it back simply because I've got plenty of stuff like this that's better quality. But if you didn't have something like this, it might be a good way to go. There's just so much cool stuff and there's always something new. There is a certain amount of discipline that you have to develop when you're going to these stores. It would be very easy, and I see people do this all the time. They will fill these giant carts all the way to the top with stuff. The next time I'm in the store, I'm seeing that same person in there doing the same thing again. And while I do understand a lot of people are probably turning around and reselling these items, I can't imagine trying to store up all the stuff that I see people taking out of that place. By keeping an eye on things, I have scored some really cool gear from these places. In fact, I'm probably going to do another one of my bin store camping videos pretty soon because I think I've got enough stuff to do another one with totally different gear. If that's something you want to see, leave me a comment down below and tell me about it. So do you have these stores in your area? Is it something that's moved in yet? If you've been to one, tell me about the coolest thing that you found. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear about it. Also, this is that point in the video where I have to tell people, hey, if you want to support the channel, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be aware of all upcoming videos. Also, there is an Amazon wish list in the description box below. That's just a few items that if you want to help the channel out, you can send it to us and help us along on our adventures. So I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes look into the Amazon Return Bin Store and how this thing works. And I hope that you find one of these near you and have an adventure of your own. So that's a wrap for this video. And until the next time, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. We'll see you around.